Hooty hoo, welcome today. I'm Tall Mike. So glad you're here. What do we got going on in the markets today? Well, the Dow's up about 100, Nasdaq's up 20. Now this rally in the market has been incredible, right? I mean, in the last 2.5 weeks, Nasdaq's up about 13%, S&P up about 10%. This has been the best rally in over a year. This has been a lot of short covering, this short squeeze, if you will. And I mean, we've just been going up and up and up and up. But hey, it's not done yet. They're going to push this market higher. But the market right now is tired. I mean, it's exhausted. It just has this big run up, right? So we're going to get a pullback at some point. Maybe we go straight up into the end of the year. But I do think we're going to get a pullback before they push this up higher into the end of the year. Now, where was the record high? The record high goes back exactly 2 years ago in December. So we'll probably close the market this year. We'll probably close that right around that record high, right about 4,800 on the S&P. They're going to push it up higher. Yeah, the market's tired right now. Look for a little bit of pullback and then the push up into the end of the year. They want to push it up. They want to get those big bonuses on Wall Street. They're doing a lot of stock buybacks right now. The two most common months out of the year to have the high of the year is July and December. Now, I thought July was going to be the high, but it looks like we're going to take that high out and make a new high in December. But those are the two most common months to make the high of the year. Okay, so now the old high, you got to go back to December 2021, and we're going to hit it again in 2023 in December. Okay, so this market has just been on this rally, but I do think we'll get the pullback. Okay, now we came out with a lot of good news. A lot of good news this week. All right, where do we start with the good news? Well, let's start with the inflation numbers. Now, the inflation number is what propelled this market higher. All right, so inflation's done. It's over. There's no more inflation. Isn't that great? It's fabulous. No more. We've conquered inflation. We've won the war against inflation. Now, I do not believe that. I do not believe that. You see, inflation went up to 9% and it's come down here. Now, it was at 3.7, and the latest numbers will tell you we've come down to 3.2. All right, so we're kind of at the bottom. Now, this inflation is going to take off much, much higher. Now, a lot of people think that we're going to get deflation. Deflation, right now, if we do see deflation, what's going to happen? What would happen? Well, the Fed would start printing money, and they're going to print money like crazy anyways, but they would really start to print money if we saw deflation. I actually think we're going to see hyperinflation. I think this inflation number down here at 3.2, call it the bottom, if you will. Inflation comes in waves, and the second wave is going to hit, and I think it's going to push inflation into double-digit numbers. Now, it's going to be out in 2024. Right now, they want to make things look great. Things are all great right now, right? But this inflation number is going to it's going to be the bottom. There's a top coming that's going to take out that 9%. Once again, this is just my take. People think I'm crazy when I say that we're going to hyperinflate. They say that's not possible. Because we have the reserve currency. Reserve currency has never hyperinflated. Now, hyperinflation technically is actually 50% a month, but I think you're going to get to a hyperinflation in the United States, which is going to be 40 or 50% inflation in 1 year. Now, that's out down the road a ways. Might be next year. We don't know yet, but that's what they're saying. All right, we had some other good news. The other good news is that they're not going to shut the government down, right? They're going to pass a funding bill. They're going to pass a funding bill, and the funding bill, well, it doesn't have any cuts. No government cuts. Zero cuts. Zero cuts to the government. You see, the spending is just going to keep continuing and continuing. Now, this is not sustainable, and it's very bad, right? Very bad. I mean, the reason that we're going to get to inflation is because of the spending. Now, they're going to spend $5 trillion extra dollars every year. Extra dollars. $5 trillion extra on top of what we bring in. You're going to see our debt increase by $5 trillion a year. 4 years, that'd be an extra 20 trillion. We'd be up there around $54 trillion, but it'd probably be even worse than that. But that's the pace that we're on right now, and everybody thinks that that's acceptable. You see, if you're a politician, you can't come out and say, look, we're going to raise your taxes and we're going to reduce your benefits. You can't say that. You'd never win, but that's what we need to do. We need to get back to fiscal responsibility. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. We're just going to drive this train until we have that train wreck. And it's going to be a train wreck. It's going to be scary. A lot of people are going to get hurt. It's just the way it's going to play out. I mean, it's sad. It's really sad, right? I mean, we got to stop spending, but we can't. We have a spending problem in the U.S., and they're going to continue to spend. They're going to continue to inflate. You see, what's happened now is that the money supply is actually decreasing, which is really unusual. You can go back to the Great Depression. This is what happened right before the Great Depression. Yes, I think we're going to get another depression again. Now, maybe it's an inflationary depression instead of a deflationary depression. But I do see a depression coming to the U.S. A lot of people disagree with that. You cannot say that on the mainstream media. You'll be thrown off immediately. Hopefully, YouTube doesn't throw me off for saying it. But that's what I see coming, right? That's what I see happening. I see that the M2 money supply is decreasing, just like it did right before the Great Depression. Now, here's what's increasing. This is interesting. The velocity of money. Now, what is the velocity of money? It just means that as soon as you get your paycheck, you're going to go out and spend it as fast as you can. You want to spend the money. You don't want to hold the money. The velocity is picking up, and that's a sign that we're getting closer towards hyperinflation. So I'm calling we're going to go towards hyperinflation. I know the numbers were great. You saw the numbers, 3.2. Inflation's dead, Mike. We went up 0% month over month. And that's their take. That's not my take. My take is that inflation is going to come roaring back. All right. So that's a problem, right? And the problem is, okay, so how do you protect yourself? How do you protect yourself? Well, the public, they're getting smart. They're getting smart. What's one of the top selling items at Costco? When you go to Costco, what's one of the top selling items? Well, I'll tell you, it's gold bars. Gold bars. They're selling gold bars. See, the public is getting smarter, right? The public's getting smarter. Here's what they're doing. They're pulling their money out of the banking system and they're buying gold bars at Costco, right? Okay, so these gold bars at Costco that they're buying, I mean, they sell for around $2,000, all right, per gold bar, but they sell out within an hour of putting them on. They put them out there, sold out within an hour. They don't have them in stock. They can't keep them in stock because the public wants them. Okay, now why does the public want them? Well, they're starting to get smart. You see, you go back to 1980. 1980, we were 1 trillion in debt, right? 1 trillion in 1980. Okay, go to 2008. We were 10 trillion. 10 trillion, now that sounds like a lot. A lot of people were worried about that in 2008. Well, that's nothing. We're $34 trillion now. Now, in 2008, the Federal Reserve had on their balance sheet about $1 trillion. Now they're over $8 trillion. Just since 2008, we printed 30 trillion extra dollars, and you put it into the economy, and of course, it makes things go up like the stock market, like houses. It's going to make them go up. It makes assets inflate. They're inflating the bubble, right? But it's not sustainable. We're on a pace to print an extra 5 trillion every year. Every year, that's the pace we're on. Okay, and of course it makes your houses go up, right? And now let's get to the house part. Okay, so the latest article on Yahoo Finance, the headline, baby boomers are buying up all of the houses. It's the baby boomers' fault that we have this bubble. They're buying all the houses. Now, it's kind of funny, the article went on to say that the housing downturn was short-lived. The downturn in houses, it's over. It's done. You missed it. If you blinked, you missed it. Did you catch the downturn? No, the downturn's just getting started. This is going to drop 40 to 50%. That's what's going to happen. But according to the article, you missed it. we had the downturn. It was short-lived. It's over now. The baby boomers, they're out there buying all the houses. But the article was really weird. Right now, it was saying that the baby boomers were selling their big house and buying their little house. Okay, it talked about this one gentleman. He's, 77 or something. Anyways, he has cancer. So he sold his big house, bought a little house, and then he died. He died. Okay, so his heirs got the little house, so he sold that one. Now, to me, it sounds like the baby boomers are selling their houses, not buying their houses. You see, there's going to be the great baby boomer die-off, if you will. The baby boomers are going to die off. Now, some of them going to move into the old folks' home, but they own a lot of houses. Some of them own 2, 3 houses. These are sellers. They're not the buyers anymore. These are the sellers. So baby boomers buying up all the houses. It just didn't make sense to me, but that's what they're talking about, right? Now, I remember back when I sold a house to an elderly gentleman, 85 years old, man. I went out there. He wanted to buy a house. I got him a 30-year loan. Man, that would make him live to 115. His credit was perfect, right? Well, it wasn't so perfect after the 2008 crash because he stopped his payments and the bank took that back. The bank was angry with me. They said, Mike, you can't sell an 85-year-old man a house. Of course you can. You can sell an 85. But he got a 30-year loan. Well, he got that from the loan broker. Goes through the loan broker. Loan broker gave him a loan for 30 years. He couldn't live to 115. He died. His family stopped making payments and the house went back to the bank. A lot of houses are going back to the bank already. We're seeing short sales. We're seeing people underwater. We're seeing foreclosures spike up. That's just what's happening with, they give the houses back to the bank, especially in the commercial market. Oh, commercial market, that's just getting nasty. I mean, things that sold for $60 million just 5 years ago, they're on the market for like 15 million. I mean, it's 75% off. 75% off on a lot of these office buildings. It's almost time to start looking at office buildings, right? I mean, there's $15 million houses up in the areas that I sell that you could get this skyscraper office building. Call that your home. I got 15 floors. Why not? Why not turn the office into a home? But the banks are in a lot of trouble. You see, they have the loans on these things. So they have to take these back and then they dump them on the market at the fire sale. 60 million becomes 15 million. And the bank, they take a $30 million hit just on that one building. Okay, that happens. But the banks are in a lot of trouble. Now, why? Why? I really don't know why, but let's talk about it for a second. All right. So there was that just last week or so, there was delays in getting your checks into the bank. Like if you were a payroll, automatic deposit, automatic clearinghouse, they had a problem, right? Okay, they weren't transferring the money into the bank. So people who normally expect their paycheck to deposit it into the bank, their paycheck wasn't showing up, but yet they had bills to pay. They couldn't pay their bills because the check was delayed. Now they said it was human error. And this was Bank of America and Chase Bank. They're the two big ones that had the problem. A lot of little ones had the same problem. But human error, really human error can cause that in the banking system. That's fascinating to me. Now, here's another thing that's going on with the banks. A lot of banks are closing, but here's also what's happening. A lot of banks are closing your accounts. My account, your account, they're closing them. Now, I've had two, and brokerage firms also, I've had 2 accounts shut down now. Why? Why did I have them shut down? I don't do anything. Maybe they didn't like my podcast, right? But anyways, they call it a suspicious activity report. Now, when you deal with cash, and I like cash, I like having extra cash lying around the house, and I'll pull cash out or put cash into the banks. I use cash to transfer around. Okay, so yeah. Everybody thinks you're a terrorist at that point because you have cash. So you get a suspicious activity report filed against you, all right? And the bank, they just close your account. They don't give you a reason. You call up the bank and you say, hey, I'm bouncing checks all over the place. What's going on? Oh, well, we had to close your account. And at first they're sympathetic, but then they pull up their computer screen and it says, suspicious activity report filed. No, all of a sudden, they just become angry because they can't tell you They just go, oh, sorry, we can't help you. It's illegal for them to tell you what the problem is. But there's over 2 million suspicious activity reports filed in every year. Every year. I mean, our country, we've become afraid of everybody, right? I mean, everybody. You go into the bank and try to take cash out. Why are you taking the cash out? How about none of your business? But they file a suspicious activity report on you if you say that. So you got to be nice to your banker. But look, I've had 2 accounts closed. Okay, granted, I have other accounts, which was fine, but it took me weeks to get my money back. So let's say you wake up on Monday morning and your bank is closed and you get notices that you're bouncing checks and you can't make your payments. You can't do anything without a bank. The banking system scares me, right? Should scare you. They may close down your account for suspicious activity. It's ridiculous what's going on in the banking system. Banking system in a lot of trouble, makes me very nervous. That's all I want to say about that. I mean, just be careful. Be careful. You've been warned. Anyways, I'm Tall Mike. If you like this stuff, give me the thumbs up. Why not? It's Wednesday, everybody. Get out there. Have a great day. We'll talk later in the week. Punch that subscribe button, but give me that thumbs up. Bye-bye now.